Hi, welcome to AFTV. I've got Dan Potts with me. We've just beaten West Ham 3-1 at the Emirates Stadium, where Dan Potts has just travelled back from to do this Fatting Cam. Now, let me just open with, how was it? Does it feel good to be back, Dan?
Listen, first of all, happy Christmas. And It's good to see you managed to get home, bro.
I'm back.
Mate, it's good to see you. And it's good to see everybody. Listen, happy Christmas. Hope everyone had a great time. Wow, happy Christmas indeed. That was a very happy Christmas, particularly that second half. And I will say this, when I left, I thought, was that a game of two halves? Maybe it was for some. I'm not so sure that it was, because for me, I felt there was a lot of good things in the first half still. I just felt that there wasn't that killer instinct. And I think the front three, it weren't really working too much, because what was happening, Saka and Martinelli had a lot of the ball. They were coming inside a lot. There was not really much, ain't really working, we'll cut back inside. Now it's great, we're keeping possession, not doing a lot with it, that's clinical. Some creativity weren't really coming off. I will say this, West Ham weren't great, by the way. You know what I mean? We're coming at half time with 1-0 down. It weren't from their brilliance. No. Obviously it was a penalty. I think one of them hit the shot of Ramsdale that he made a comfortable save. That was it. So I wasn't going into that second half thinking, I can't see us winning this. I don't know how, we've got to change this up completely. And I want to big up Arteta here, because I feel like it was a keep knocking on the door, it will happen. But change up a bit with what you're doing. Now, Eddie's movement in the first half was fine for me, because he was buzzing around. Sometimes it weren't really, the telepathy wasn't all right with a few. And I felt that would change in the second half. Now, for me, the biggest thing that I saw throughout this game was our trio in midfield. Now, you could pick any one of those today and give a man of the match. I thought they were all exceptional. And I'll say this now, Cecil, I don't think there's a better trio at the moment in the Premier League. Wow. I really don't, in midfield, right? I've seen fantastic midfielders over the years. I've seen superb midfield in this current year and last year. I don't think there is a midfield trio. I think our midfield trio is better than City's and Liverpool's. Wow. I'll tell you that now.
Do you know what? You make a good point, because if you look at the Arsenal side today and you pick out like where the weaknesses are, you would not mention no one from that midfield at all. They were great.
Listen, I think Thomas Partey, what he does is outstanding, right? And I think the consistency that Granit Xhaka has shown in that new position, the way he's driving us forward, always wanting the ball. He's got that little bit of bite about him, which is always good. Last year, the season before that, it was red cards. Now we're seeing that discipline a little bit more. And I'm loving that. I'm loving this Granit Xhaka. And I have to say this about Martin Odegaard, right? As somebody who said, score goals, please, assist goals, please. He's blown that out the water. He's our top scorer at the moment. He looks superb in everything that he's doing. Again, another couple of creative assists today. I love everything about this guy at the moment, because what he does is he drives our midfield, but everything that looks good at the moment is through him. And I think that we really have a special talent on our hands here. I'd love to see some consistency from him. That's what I'm getting. I'd love to see goals from him. That's what I'm getting. Assists likewise. And I always like to compare players to who would I like to see in this Arsenal setup. And I've always been a big fan of James Maddison, and still am, by the way. If he keeps going, we'll have our own James Maddison there, potentially better than him, right? So that's the way I'm looking at it personally.
Okay, let me just ask you then quickly, just you speak about midfield, how superb they are, probably one of the best in the league, according to you as well. Then let me ask you, do we need to strengthen though in that position? Obviously, people look at the front, the forward line and the wingers and a striker, but if you got the luxury of getting in a striker or a winger and another position, would you look to strengthen that midfield?
Listen, we've got 11 players at the moment that I really like, but we need more than that. And it ain't just about, let's keep these 11 because they're good, let's build on this 11. That comes for the midfield as well as up top. We know we're short in the front three, right? We are 100%. But that midfield trio, when it is fit, I don't think can be dislodged. But we definitely need some cover for it. We need an upgrade on Lokonga and El Neni. We need an upgrade when Xhaka goes. Who have we got? There's a Tielemans going to come in. We haven't got that player at the moment that can come in. Odegaard and Vieira and Smith Rowe, we've got some players more in the attacking positions. But those two, I think, were quite weak after Partey and Xhaka. So that would be definite. But for me, Eddie deserves a mention today, man.
I was coming to it. I was going to say, because, listen, you said you heard some critiques from about Eddie when he was in the stadium, online, when we was doing the watch-along. A lot of people in the comments at half-time. Let's have a word on Eddie Nketiah, Stan.
Yeah, listen, Eddie is what Eddie is. And if you can accept that, then you will never leave the Emirates disappointed, because you've already been disappointed from what you've seen in certain games from Eddie. When he's got good games, you can actually give him some praise, you know.
I think people forget.
People forget that. They're like, oh, miss Jesus. There's a couple of people in the ground, a couple of touches that were perhaps off in the first half. Oh, we haven't got Jesus. He's not good enough. We're not going to get through. Hang on, let's the guy have the touch of the football first, shall we? I understand that he misses some chances. I understand in mid-season against Juve, I was disappointed that he hit the post. Of course, I was one of those. But that's the time to miss, Miss in the friendlies and put them away. Can I just big him up for his goal, by the way? Because if Martin Ødegaard turns like that, we're all going excited about it, right? That was an unbelievable turn and a fantastic finish. And I think sometimes you need to look at what Eddie Nketiah is. For me, he's a backup striker. I don't think we're going to win a title with Eddie Nketiah, but can we win a title with Eddie Nketiah as a part of our squad? I think absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to build on this. Trust me, we need to get a couple of players in that position. I think there's rumours of Mudryk and some potential wide players coming through. Apparently, he put an Instagram
He was
story.
watching the game, mate. We spoke about it on the Match Day Live. He was watching it.
How can you make that?
Cheeky, innit? Cheeky.
Listen, I think he wants to work on his poker face, bro. If that's him trying to say he's not, listen, he is interested in coming. So that would be a really good signing for me. But Eddie Nketiah deserves his flowers today, man. It was a great goal. It was a good performance. And for me, there was a lot of good touches in his game. I think off the ball, the development is really good. I think he's definitely bulked up. So let's look at some positives from Eddie's performance tonight.
I think that's it. You said about you can praise him, but also remember as well, towards the end of the season, he helped us. He did help us. I know he didn't get top 4, but he did help us. And today, he helped us get the win. So people need to remember what he does offer. And like you said, you won't be disappointed if you have, set your standards at a certain rate when you're looking at Eddie Nketiah. Final word, you was at the stadium. Did you know Arsène Wenger was there? Was it clear?
It was mad because I was in the concourse to start with. Someone said, Arsène Wenger's here tonight. I said, what?
He hasn't been back
what
since.
The hell is all this about? Rumours, didn't know that it was true. And then the second goal, the Martinelli goal that went in, he come on the screen and started clapping. And it was like, I tell you what, Cecil, it lifted. Wow. The whole place lifted. Now, I don't know if the players noticed that in terms of that lift, but certainly I believe it would have in turn resulted in them having the lift on the pitch to go on and get the third goal. Yeah. But for me, it was a lift in the stadium. And singing one Arsène Wenger is something I haven't done since he was last here. And that's sad. Because he should be back here. He should be welcomed. That's a guy who's been at the club for 22 years. I know it didn't end great. I know it kind of tarnished his legacy in parts. But for me, if that is something they're wanting to do, because I don't believe that's him coming to watch the football, I think there's something going on there. I don't know what. I don't know what discussions have taken place, and I don't want to start rumours. But what I will say is that I know that if you listen to what Arteta and Edu have said, they'd like to invite him back in some form to the club. So that's going to be interesting. And, that's a good way for me to finish, actually, because a lot of people have said to me, what's changed for you this season? Because a lot of people have known my critics, and I'm happy to say that I've been very critical of Mikel Arteta and the regime at times. What I think has changed, the biggest thing for me, is what we see that we've praised off the pitch is now starting to show on it. The lifting mentality, the understanding of removing of the culture, there's definitely a togetherness. Yep. And now we're starting to see that moving forward. Now, this plan, there's always been a plan. I just have my question marks whether it could be executed. And we're seeing it executed at the moment on and off the pitch. The off the pitch stuff was always good. Yeah. The on the pitch stuff at times was so bad to watch. Very true. Now it's starting to do this, and we've got about there now, and it's starting to take over. And I think that we're seeing a plan now start to come to fruition. And if we can continue the way that we're going and add a few pieces to the puzzle in January, who knows, we might have a good season waiting us.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.